I think e-commerce is one of those really interesting fields. Just in my mind, I'm thinking that in a few decades or maybe in a few years, going to a shop will actually have nothing to do with actually moving or doing some physical exercise at all. And especially with the increasing number of smartphones, we're going to see the whole field being changed completely, I think. So first off, I'd like to invite Roy Vella to give an overview of the trends in the sector. Roy Vella is from Vella Ventures, and please welcome Roy Vella.
Thank you. Hello. Am I on? Am I on? Louder, you can hear me? Okay, good. So this is a small part of a larger presentation. I need to apologize in advance because I'm going to speak loudly because I'm from New York, and I also speak quickly because I'm from New York. And as I get more excited, I do both even more. So if I say something too quickly or it doesn't make any sense, please just feel free to interject, ask questions. Really quickly, I'm a Silicon Valley guy, Stanford, and then stayed there and started a company, and then was at PayPal for 5 years. PayPal is what brought me to London, where I live now. I've been there for the last 7 years. And for the last 3 years, I've been doing consulting in this convergence of mobile, online, and financial services, starting in the e-commerce and going from there. So I use the metaphor of the wave because I think it's a perfect metaphor for mobile. It is a force of nature. You either learn to navigate it and swim or surf or drown. Those are the kind of the two options. I'm going to run through parts of this presentation that I think are most relevant to you and sort of the e-commerce wave that's coming. First of all, just scale. This is the points of presence of mobile. Obviously, when you're looking at traditional commerce, traditional financial services, Western Unions, bank branches, post office ATMs, point of sale terminals, it's nothing compared to mobile. Mobile is sort of off the charts in terms of penetration. Even more important is how fast it was that we got here. So this is how many years did it take to get to 80% penetration of the human population. And again, mobile is by far the fastest technology to get to 80% of the human population. And it really comes down to this. The world is changing fast. Big is not going to beat small anymore. It's about the fast beating the slow. So when you look at this, even though the big guy looks scary, it's the little guy you got to worry about. If you back off from this 100 meters, 200 meters, you won't even see the diver. But the diver is the dangerous one. The whale is not so dangerous. Another great metaphor is super tanker. If you want to turn a super tanker 1 degree, it takes 14 turns of the wheel. That makes a lot of sense, right? If you did it any faster, there's a lot of momentum and inertia there that it would flip over and sink. This is not unlike big corporations, right? It takes a lot of effort to move a big corporation from where it's headed. The other thing about a super tanker is if you're at full speed and you see something 5 miles ahead of you, you've hit it. The next command given is abandon ship. So the large supertanker, like the large organization, is very hard to maneuver. Time magazine did a study back in August of last year. They called it the wireless issue. All of these images are from Instagram. And they were talking, the way they did it is they interviewed 5,000 people across the globe. So in India, in China, in Europe, in the States and Latin America. The amazing stat that came out, 84% said they couldn't live 1 day without their mobile device. This is across culture, across region, across country. So what are we talking about? It's personal, it's essential, it's affordable, it's fully global, it's connected and ubiquitous, it's proximate, it's always within arm's reach, it's sophisticated yet fun, it's trusted, it's measurable, it's sensitive, it can actually hear and see better than you can, monetizable, and right now it's very much an operator-led platform. Just so that we're 100% clear and we're on the same page, as far as I'm concerned, it is the most deeply and broadly penetrated technology ever. If you look at human history, it goes like this: fire, then the wheel, then the mobile phone. And to just prove my point, we'll look at the lowly toothbrush. There are 3 times as many mobile devices on the planet as toothbrushes. Not expensive, not heavy, not hard to distribute, no IP, no patents. It's just because connectivity and communication is more valuable than dental hygiene. to the vast majority of people. Look at this stat. Mobile, electricity, safe drinking water. In terms of penetration, again, of the human population. The only reason that electricity lags mobile is that people are sharing power. So in Africa, in South America, there's a guy with a generator and people go and pay to charge their phones. And actually, electricity has been rising because people need to charge their phones. They didn't need it for light. They didn't need it for refrigeration. But now that they've got a mobile, they want electricity. So this whole front part is just to say, it's not internet in your pocket. It's not web on a small screen. This is a new paradigm. This has never happened before. It will likely never happen again. Everyone is connected to the device. Look at this. This is the 2005 selection of the Pope. And you can see in the corner here, there's actually a guy with it's probably a Samsung or a Nokia. And this is the recent one. 8 years later, you go from one phone to all phones. So the world has changed in really fundamental ways. Okay, acceleration and digital bridges, which are really important. So this is a photo taken with Instagram, which is why I love it. And what it's showing is the number of months to get to 1 million users. The red guys are the internet guys. So if you look, AOL, it took over 5 years. It took eBay over 2 years. PayPal just over a year. The green guys are mobile. Instagram hit 10 million users in less than a year. Draw Something, 9 days from launch, they hit their first million user. 9 days. And they hit 36 million in 6 weeks. A month and a half from launch, Draw Something had 36 million users. Instagram hit over 100 million in 2 years, and as you all know, probably they sold to Facebook for $1 billion, which ended up being more like 750 million. This isn't because these are just staggeringly good products. It's because everybody's connected to everybody else. And so the network effects are tremendous. They actually cut both ways. So Draw Something peaked at 36.5 million. Today, they have around 9 million. There's a 75% decrease in 7 months. So as quickly as people came in, they left, which is interesting. I mean, I think Draw Something still, they have 9 million users. Like, they're doing fine. But people look at it and go, oh, you lost all those users. Well, that's how quickly mobile moves. It's not just digital. So this is it's a Taco Bell in the United States. It's called a Taco Loco. They did a deal with Doritos to put a Doritos shell around a taco that they sell. Compare that to the McDonald's cheeseburger. They sold 100 million of these in 10 weeks. And they've sold over 375 million to date. Compare that to McDonald's. It took them 18 years to get to their first 100 million. And by the way, this isn't delicious. I talked to people on this deal. They said, yeah, when you take a Doritos and you put it around our taco, it's even more disgusting. So it's not about food quality. It's just because everybody's connected to everyone else. So using social media and mobile together, they were able to sell a lot of these. This is the woman who actually put that product together. She said, mobile is not a channel. It's a technology-driven cultural phenomenon that's fundamentally changing how consumers interact with brands and with one another. Crowdsourcing. So Quirky is a platform on which you can make physical products. They made 15 new iPhone 5 accessories in a week. In a week. 1 week from launch, there were 15 new accessories to buy on Quirky. I'm flying through these because there's a lot of them. Coca-Cola, this is, again, a digital bridge, moving from the digital world to the physical world. Coca-Cola wanted to participate. They made an ad on a magazine that you rolled it up and you stuck your iPhone in and it made it into a speaker. And actually, it was quite effective. It made the volume much, much louder, which was amazing. Paddy Power did Twitter skywriting. So when you were at the Ryder Cup, you tweeted to them. They had 5 planes in the sky that drew your tweet on the sky. Again, this is a kind of a digital bridge, trying to get the fact that everyone has a mobile device, so they let you tweet in and see it above you at the games. This is about 50 Shades. This is a paperback book, right? This is a physical paperback book. They hit 35 million users faster than Instagram. Again, this is just because everybody's connected to everyone else in real time, so that communication moves really quickly. Personalization, proximity, and the loss of physicality. So personalization first. Everyone wants to treat the red ball like it's special, like it's unique, like it's different from all the rest of the balls. The reality is, you've all been chipped. Whether you realize it or not, your SIM and your phone number is unique to you on the planet. We have a global identity system now that is your phone number. And we've never had that before. Even the international standard bank account identifier is different in every EU country. So this is the first time where we actually have true personalization. Your phone number is unique to you versus everyone else. There's a couple of Dilberts in here because they're very relevant, and I find them amusing, so there they are. Oh, sorry. What'd I do? Sorry. Anyway, so this is an infographic from the Mobile Marketing Association, and I don't have time to go through all of it, but I'm going to highlight some of it. So the first thing is that mobile is becoming the connective tissue, a very biologic term, of nearly every aspect of life, making it the most personal and the most pervasive media in history. That is true on the media front. If you look at media in terms of what's out there, radio, TV, PC, internet, mobile kind of is off the charts there. I love this one. I want to meet the guy who wrote only. Only 6% take calls or texts during sex. That's interesting. 1 in 4 are addicted to their phone. If you talk to under 30s, it goes to 1 in 3. 34% are completely addicted. And that makes perfect sense, right? The phone surrounds the individual. It's their searches, their calendars, their location, their purchases, their interests, but most importantly, it's the social graph. It's everybody that they know and everybody that they want to connect to. I don't have time to dig into this, but I would encourage you to look up Mary Meeker and look up her recent presentation about asset heavy versus asset light. And so we're in a transition here where we're going from asset heavy world where things are physical to an asset light world where things are digital. And whether it's relating to space or time or money, that's happening across the board, and it's affecting everything and very much affecting e-commerce. So Mary Meeker, look her up. She's a partner at Kleiner Perkins right now. I have another slide of hers in here. It's really worth investigating, and I don't have time to dig into it, unfortunately. Hyperconnectivity, though, I really do want to dig into. So hyperconnectivity and user interfaces. Having everyone connected to everyone else changes the world in big ways. So first of all, when we say internet, when my generation says internet and the web, we tend to mean a laptop. We tend to mean a desktop. That's not what the new generation. Mobile already passed fixed line in 2010. By 2015, it will far dwarf it. This is the wireless generation. They expect to be connected 24/7 all the time to everybody and everyone they know. It's very entertaining. If you take someone who's under 20 and tell them that you used to pick up people at the airport and no one had a phone, they sort of just look at you and they go, how do you do that? This is not the web to the wireless generation. This is the web. It doesn't really matter how big the screen is or where the screen is. They expect everything to be connected and in real time. And really, this is what the web will become. Everything will be connected. And we'll talk a bit about the Internet of Things that's coming. We're here. We're in the very early days. Early days of smartphones and tablets. Personal computers still matter, but they're not going to matter very much for very much longer. So hyperconnectivity is about information asymmetries. It's about two parties not having all the information out there. And I have 3 examples here: Indian fishermen, Kenyan farmers, and Pakistani barbers. I don't have time to do all 3, so pick one. What do you want to hear about? Anybody? Pakistani barbers. So in Pakistan, when you wanted a haircut, you used to go to the center of whatever town or village that you were in. And all the barbers were there, and most of the revenue that the barber made went to the municipality. They had to pay a lot to be in the center of town. Now, in Pakistan, every barber on the side of their scooter or their car, it says, text me, I'll give you a haircut wherever you want. I'll come to your house, I'll come to your office, I'll meet you on a street corner. Now all the revenue goes to the barber. So that's a classic information asymmetry. Need a haircut, give a haircut, and it used to clear through the municipality, through the city, and now it clears directly. And that's happening in all, I mean, it's the same with the fishermen, with the farmers. I tell people in banking, you know, people who save money, people who need money, like the whole lending paradigm where the bank clears that, that's also happening direct. It's this. So in the old world, you had to go to the bank to clear the transaction. Now it's happening directly. There's lending clubs and Zopa and online interfaces that people are connecting directly as opposed to going through an intermediary. This is a quote. William Gibson is a science fiction writer, and he famously said, "The future's already here, it's just not evenly distributed." Well, that was true when he said it. When he said it, the advanced nations had the future and the developing nations didn't. That's changing. Mobile has flattened that curve. The future is way more evenly distributed than it's ever been before. It's dramatically improving an individual's ability to earn a living. It means that you can keep more to keep your family alive. And the most important thing is this: everything is becoming smooth, slick, slippery, and very, very fast. This is the opportunity of the present moment. It's an interface that removes all the frictions from any business transaction. The future belongs to the hyperconnected. It's an open global community with massive disruptive effects. This comes from a site called The Next Billion Seconds. A billion seconds is just about 30 years. So they're looking out 10, 20, 30 years. And it's this: I trust my network more than I trust your brand. Now when I go into a store, I don't just have the information in front of me or what I brought with me. I bring everybody with me. I have all the information that's available. I have the price in every currency. I have the availability. I have how it performs. I have reviews. I've got full information all the time with me. This is a store today in Brazil. And if you haven't seen this before, you see these little blue numbers? Those are Facebook likes for every article of clothing. And that's full information, right? So they post all their clothing up, and people like them. And some people say, oh, God, that's crazy. People are only going to buy the most liked piece of clothing. Not true. There's a group that buys the most likes. There's another group that wants the least liked. And there's some who just in the middle. I don't want the most. I don't want the least. I want something in the middle. And all it is information transparency, right? It's the fact that everyone's connected to everyone else. You probably haven't heard of Dave Carroll. Dave Carroll's a Canadian musician who checked his guitar with United Airlines and they destroyed it. So he applied in the process and they denied it, and he appealed and they denied it. So Dave wrote 3 songs and he posted them up on YouTube, and 11 million people watched it. About how bad, and the songs were called United Breaks Guitars. And the estimate is that it cost United $180 million because they refused to replace a $3,500 guitar. So Dave is in the new world, and United is in the old world. In the old world, United's like, I broke your guitar. What are you going to do? In the new world, Dave tells everybody. And it costs United $180 million. Actually, Dave has started 2 companies around this. Grapevine, which is for customers to complain, and Resolution 1, which is for merchants to deal with those complaints. He's making money from it. So this is a small sample of the companies out there going after this hyperconnectivity opportunity. It's not up to date, but there's a huge amount of opportunity here. Hyperconnectivity is really the wave of the future. Apps, our beloved apps. We adore our apps. Another Dilbert. So it is true, though. We are absolutely crazy about our apps. So there's about just over 1 million apps out there on Android and iOS. They've been downloaded 50 billion times. So there's not even 1 billion smartphones. So you got about 1 million apps on 1 billion smartphones, 50 billion downloads. Ridiculous, amazing. And it's all about simplicity. So Johnny Ives is the designer behind all things Apple at this point, and it's about meticulous simplicity, using material in a very minimalist way. And simplicity is really winning the day. If you look at this is the average sale price. You know, iPhone, very expensive, but not that many units. The rest sort of lagging behind. And Steve Jobs himself said, simple is harder than complex. You have to work hard to make things clean and to keep it simple. And look at this, what it means. So this is units, revenues, and profits. So Apple has about 10% of units, 45% of industry revenue, 75% of industry profit. 10% of units taking 75% of profit from the industry. It's just boggling that could be the case. The only thing that's changed since this graph is that Samsung has come up and taken some of those revenues. So now Apple's share of profit is around 62, 63%, and Samsung has taken some. Do you remember this? This is the world before the iPhone. This is the world pre-iPhone. Switching, flipping, turning, buttons, and this is the world post-iPhone. The flat black slab has won. And it's all about simplicity. It's about GUIs and keyboards and mice to moving to gestures and voice and touch. Really moving from mobility to usability. The big difference between BlackBerry and Apple was the difference between mobility and really usability and focusing on that usability. So easy that a child can use it. And we all know this. Like kids, you hand them an iPad, you hand them an iPhone, they don't need any help. They know how to use it immediately. It's also this. Look at that's the Sony remote, and there's the Apple remote. The Sony remote, I mean, if you lose your manual, well, even if you have your manual, you have to read the manual to use the remote. The Apple doesn't come with a remote. And what does it mean? Well, the valuation of Apple equals Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook. You add those four together, you get to Apple in terms of market share. Maybe not recently, but this was true not long ago. And the rule of thumb with the iPhone is that you take all of the sales from the prior iPhones and you add them up to get the new one. The iPhone 5 sold 2 million units in the first hour, which is just ridiculous, amazing. This is retail. Apple, twice as profitable as Tiffany's in retail. Let me be clear, like consumer electronics, computers, chips, diamonds. Like twice as profitable. So clearly simplicity is resonating with consumers. They love it and they're buying it in droves. This is a picture that a professor from a university put up, and the quote underneath said, "I feel like I work in an orchard," with all the apples there. And they have dominated the space. It's not all about Apple. Android is outselling Apple. 3 out of the 4 smartphones purchased in the last 3 months were Android. And Android's doing very, very well in terms of sales. This is a chart. If there's one chart that I don't want you to forget, this is it. Again, this is from Mary Meeker. And what it's showing is that this is a trend that's about 50 years old. So in the 60s, we started with mainframes, and we had about 1 million units. Then we went to mini computers, about 10 million. PCs, about 100 million. Desktop internet, about 1 billion. If mobile hadn't happened yet, if you rolled the clock back to 2002, 2003, you'd say, well, something's coming. There's some 10 billion of something on the way, and that's mobile. And now looking where we are, you'll say, well, there's 100 billion of something that's coming next, and that's the Internet of Things. That is all things connected to the Internet. This is a trend that's been happening for a long time. It's a beautiful logarithmic scale, and we're on our way to the Internet of Things, which is next. Cisco said 99% of things in the physical world are still not connected to the Internet. It is like an iceberg. Computers and phones right now are connected to the Internet, but everything else is going to be connected soon as well. Mobile assets, static assets, controllers, sensors. We're entering a phase now where you're going to have ubiquity of communication and transparency. And how are they going to connect? It might be Bluetooth, it might be Wi-Fi. There's a thermostat, the Nest thermostat, or a scale, your shoes, wearable things, and frankly, you. So this is actually a printed circuit board that they can lay right on the top of your surface of your skin, and it gets power from the heat that your body gives off. So I know that's a little scary. Some of you are looking at it, oh God. We're on our way. It's amazing how connectivity is going to change things. Really quickly, mobile payments and commerce. It really goes from the east to the west. So Asia Pacific leading, then Africa, then North America, and down. What is the mobile wallet and mobile payments? It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. It can be online purchases, digital content. It could be in-store, or managing your credit and debit cards. Everyone thinks that there's going to be, some interface between sort of the credit card world and the phone world. This is one categorization. It's not the only one. Mobile at the point of sale, mobile as the point of sale, mobile payment platforms, direct carrier. I think the most important is this last one, the closed-loop mobile payments and what merchants are doing. Starbucks in particular. So in the United States, the most popular and the most penetrated mobile payment system today is run by a coffee shop. So Starbucks has the most pervasive mobile payment system in the United States. They hold about $1.5 billion inside the mobile wallet that they carry. It's a very simple system. It lets customers pay at the till and order and scan barcodes and share what they're drinking. It's very simple, so simplicity again is winning, but very valuable. So everyone wants to know about this race and who's going to win and what's happening next. Everyone's focused on the mobile wallet and what mobile wallet and what's happening to e-commerce and m-commerce. You probably heard of GAFA, so Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon. I don't have time to dig into it very deeply, but just really quickly, it's all about the data. So Google, this is the Google Wallet image. It's not about the payments. It's about the data. It's about filling the servers with information to better present a more relevant ad to you at the right time. It's about all this information flow, and I'm going to skip that for now. So, they say it's free, but they sell your information. So anytime you're using a free product, whether it's Google or whatever, you're the product, right? Let's be clear. Like, if it's free to you, then they're selling you. That's what they're selling, and it's advertising. It's been said many times, data is the new oil. It's all about collecting data and presenting you with a relevant ad at the relevant time, and moving up the value chain. So going from data through information to knowledge, wisdom, and power. And I could dig into that a lot deeper, but we don't have time for it. American Express actually gets this. They understand that payments, what they do today, is a small part of a much larger pie that is post-transaction, loyalty, commerce, and evaluation. Like that whole circle of commerce. So when you're thinking about e-commerce or mobile commerce, the payment is just a thin slice compared to everything else. Everyone wants to know what Apple's doing. Everyone thinks that the money is going to go into the iPhone, and everyone thought there might be NFC in the iPhone 5. Again, Passbook, if you look at Passbook, it didn't have payment, and it doesn't need payment. All they want is to collect the data. Where are you shopping? What are you watching? What are you drinking? Where are you going? They want to collect the same amount of data that Google does. They have the data interest that Google does. Amazon just launched the Amazon coin, which is a new currency. There's a number of digital currencies out there that are changing the dynamics as well. So really quickly to conclude, the runners, the banks, they want to avoid mistakes at all costs. It's about risk and compliance. The schemes, Visa, MasterCard, it's about scale and standards. They just want processing volume. Except for Amex, as I said before, Amex is different. They get it. Their vice chairman said Facebook has a social graph, Foursquare has a location graph, Twitter has an interest graph, Amex has a spend graph. And the fact that he even knows those other companies is amazing to me. And if you look at what Amex, they have synced with Facebook, with Foursquare, with Twitter, so that when you transact, it comes up on, and you can post it, and you can add offers, and you can spend and save. So they're pretty amazing in what they've done in terms of Amex. The operators, the mobile operators, it's about growth, profit, and market share. They're not really interested so much in commerce. Manufacturers I wouldn't worry about, whether they're Nokia or Samsung or whatever. The technologists, Apple, Google, they're about disruption. They're happy to disrupt. They've got plenty of money to do it. Merchants are different. Merchants hate payments. They like basis points, and they're hungry and a bit scared. And I think, like Starbucks, you're going to see merchants out there doing things. I don't have time to run into what the merchants are doing. In the United States, it's called the Merchant Customer Exchange, and they're trying to make a dumb pipe with smart loyalty. It's all about the data again, and get away from core payments. I'm not going to talk about Walmart. So the race that we're talking about, in summary, it's a brave new world. I think this is the first global platform that we're seeing. Customers, nobody owns them. The customer owns themselves, and they walk with their feet. Transaction to interaction, so it's much more of a two-way dialogue now than it's ever been before. Data will always beat fees, as you can see, 30% of revenue from search and only 2 to 3% for payments. The market dynamics, it is uncharted territory. I encourage everyone, whether they're large companies or small companies, you have to experiment. You have to be out there trying new things. Digital shadows of real-world devices, I don't have time to talk about. I'm going to skip that. But the way forward is co-opetition, so cooperation and competition. So people that you think might be competitors, it might be worth investigating cooperating with them. The critical success factors here, it's all about speed, as I said. I hope you got that message, like fast, move. Like if you or your organizations are standing still, that's a real problem. And transparency. There's going to be full transparency. There's no way to get through it without. Kissing, who knows what KISS acronym is? Keep it simple, stupid. It's all about simplicity. Simplicity is winning the day. In conclusion, really quickly, there's lots of change ahead. This is another Mary Meeker slide. As you can tell, I'm a Mary Meeker fan. Really worth looking at what's coming down the pipe. There's a ton of other things that go beyond the mobile transition. And it comes down to this. Darwin was right. It's not the strongest. It's not the most intelligent. It's the one most responsive to change. So it's about being responsive to change in this new environment. I'm going to skip that. And I just put the duck in there to calm everybody down because it's a bit of a race. And that is it for me. So my question for you is, are you this guy who just had the ride of his life and is really enjoying the mobile wave? Or is your company on the beach having pina coladas or maybe in the water but not paddling fast enough? And that's it.